I've been a writer for 10 years, since I graduated college. Or maybe it's 25 years, depending on when you start counting. My mother had an old Swiss Hermès typewriter when I was growing up. I have no idea where she acquired it or why she had it, but it was a thing of beauty to me. It was robin's egg blue and came with a lid that clamped to the typewriter itself, turning it into a stylish, if heavy, attaché. The keys clacked and the bell dinged, and I always pulled the lever for the carriage return like I was casting the deciding vote in a crucial election. "You're not writing about me, are you?" I remember my mother asking, when I was only 7 or 8 years old. Like many of her questions, she delivered it more like a command. "No," I would say. And at the time, that was the truth. My stories were small, trite, about cats, and the neighbors with the horse stables, and a pond in the woods that wasn't much more than a puddle. But I felt they carried literary heft once they were typed. To me, typing was akin to publishing. I lived for that typewriter, and I would agonize when the ribbon became twisted or the keys stuck and I needed my mother's assistance. She didn't prioritize typewriter repair the same way I did. When I would point this out to her, she would roll her eyes and say, "One day you can tell your therapist." She said that about a lot of things. But instead of getting a therapist, I became a writer. Instead of telling one person, I aspire to tell the world. I rearranged the thumbtacks in the bulletin board on the wall into a peace symbol before having a seat. At least I think it's a peace symbol. It may be the Mercedes-Benz logo. I often get those two confused, so I get back up to undo my work in order to keep my mind on track. I had some early success as a writer. 2 short stories published in 2 different literary journals. With typical youthful naivete, I thought it would always be that way, but of course, it wasn't. I took odd jobs to pay bills, convincing myself the whole time that these jobs provided life experience, essential to a writer who wants to have something important to say. But I don't have much insight from these experiences to share, other than how to make coffee and remain invisible in a room full of people, and battle a growing depression. It's been years now since I've had anything published, so long that I wonder if it's still acceptable to call myself a writer. That thought in itself is depressing. So I sit. Someone, an editor, is finally interested in my work, I remind myself, and I have to make the most of this nibble. I have to turn it into a bite. Then I have to turn that bite into a shark-like chomp. As soon as I'm settled in the chair, the door opens. A woman enters, immediately turning her back to me, so that all I can see is her slender frame, and that she is a brunette and tall. She closes the door, taking pains to do so as gently as possible. I scramble to my feet, knocking a knee against the table with a deafening whack. And even though I want to scream out in pain, to sink back into the chair and massage my leg, when she turns around and I meet her gaze, I stop. And then, strangely, I begin to bow. Because I don't know the protocol. I don't know the rules of conduct in this situation. But I no longer feel any pain. I don't remember that I have knees, that everyone has knees, or what knees are even for. I'm completely mesmerized by her hair, blown back and resting gently on her shoulders, and a demure smile, both shy and radiant. I look down at the ground as if I've dropped something, convinced when I look up again it will be someone else, a look-alike perhaps, a woman who molded her style after hers. But when I look up, it's her.